Hello guys, it's Revolution. So, in this video we're going to be discussing something that came out when all the Broly movie news came out, but didn't really hit the headlines because, well, the Broly movie news came out. This news was concerning Android 17, what he has to deal with on his island as a ranger, concerning some previous villains from the Dragon Ball Z series actually still being alive when previously thought dead. So whilst this development is certainly canon to one continuity of Dragon Ball Super, it may also provide answers to how Android 17 went from, well, Android 17 levels in the Android saga in literally getting dicked on by Cell to competing with Super Saiyan Blue levels of power in the Tournament of Power, and also provide an answer on how Android 17 became the strategic king of Dragon Ball. So we're going to talk about what all this means in terms of how it helped Android 17 develop his power into what we now know it is at the end of Dragon Ball Super, whether or not this will be canon to the anime of Dragon Ball Super or whether it should be, and what it could potentially mean for the future of Dragon Ball, whether that be even more Dragon Ball Super movies or a hypothetical new Dragon Ball Super anime series, whether or not it could be the seeds planted in order for the return of a previously infamous villain named Cell. But just before I reveal this news and we discuss it, does Android 13 exist within the canon of Dragon Ball Super? After all, Android 17 and Android 18 are exactly that, the Android models 17 and 18. So where is 12, 13, 14? You get the picture. Do the rest of them exist somewhere in the mainstream canonicity? Obviously it's not going to be exactly the movie version, but does Android 13 exist? Let me know your thoughts and reasons why down in the comment section. And whilst you're answering that question, if you love Dragon Ball, if you love talking about Dragon Ball power scaling, theories, news, reviews, theories, this is the channel for you because I cover it all. If you want regular Dragon Ball content, this is the channel for you. Hit that subscribe button and the bell button next to it to be notified whenever I release new content. So obviously it's been a very crazy couple of months in the Dragon Ball fandom. Not only have we had the wacky Dragon Ball heroes to talk about, Broly is being made canon for the mainstream canonicity of Dragon Ball Super. Now, in the midst of all that, this was revealed regarding the manga of Dragon Ball Super. The Dragon Ball Super manga is still in the midst of the Tournament of Power, obviously lagging quite far behind the anime, and it's taking a few different directions. So obviously this might not necessarily be part of the anime adaptation of Dragon Ball Super, but it also could be, and it would go a long way to describing Android 17's wacky power increase over the course of Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super. Anyway, this is what was revealed. Of course, legendary translator Todd Blankenship, aka Herms98 on Twitter, posted these with translations, and this is what he said. Android 17 said, "Oh, I forgot to tell Goten and Trunks about the fake Cell Juniors. There are 7 of them on the island, but I tamed them so they won't attack Rangers. The ending narration says they might have regenerated from the nuclei of the Cell Juniors Gohan beat." Obviously we know that to convince Android 17 to participate in the Tournament of Power, Goku had to send his son Goten and Vegeta's son Trunks to protect the island that Android 17 is a park ranger on, and obviously Krillin and Android 18's daughter Marin went with them as well. We then see images of Goten and Trunks coming under attack from these Cell Juniors, 7 of them in total. They turn Super Saiyan, they begin to fight in a 7-on-2, but Herms also revealed that Cell obviously knows about the Cell Juniors since it was previously established in the Dragon Ball Super manga. He was aware of stuff going on outside whilst he was absorbed by Cell. He says that these 7 are as strong as the original Cell Juniors, but they leave Trunks and Co alone when they see their Ranger identifiers. Remember, it was stated that Android 17 has tamed these Cell Juniors. Make note that these Cell Juniors were at least as strong as the original Cell Juniors we saw in the Cell games. Those Cell Juniors were incredibly strong at that time, even fighting on par with the likes of Super Vegeta and Trunks. Even Perfect Cell says in the manga that only Trunks and Vegeta are holding their own against these Cell Juniors. Obviously Goku struggling after being worn down after his fight with Perfect Cell, but even Piccolo, this is Piccolo that has just fused with Kami and basically fought on par with Android 17, getting beat up by these little cretins. So obviously for Android 17 to tame these, he must have got a lot stronger to tame these in the first place, never mind the fact that there are 7 of them. However, it's also important to note that these Cell Juniors have all the abilities that the original Perfect Cell has. Now Perfect Cell has the cells of the Saiyans as well as the Namekians and even Frieza as well, but the important point is is that he can regenerate even if he has one nuclei left, just like he did after self-destructing on King Kai's planet and coming back even stronger. The reason he came back stronger was because of his Saiyan cells. He received a Zenkai boost which allowed him to compete with Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, who moments before was literally folding Cell in half, forcing him to spit out Android 18 with a single punch. So there's reason to believe that these Cell Juniors also get Zenkai boosts after recovering from near death. Obviously, it was also Gohan as a Super Saiyan 2 that literally one-shotted every single one of these Cell Juniors. But like I said, these Cell Juniors were as strong as Super Vegeta, who was stronger than Piccolo fused with Kami, who was stronger than regular Super Saiyan Vegeta and Goku, obviously meaning they are stronger than Final Form Frieza on Namek, so they aren't any jokes. Yet you could also argue that this has some meaning for Goten and Trunks, because as Super Saiyan in this bonus chapter, they are competing with these Cell Juniors, which at least should end the debate that Goten and Trunks, even as kid Super Saiyans, are stronger than Namek Super Saiyan Goku. Obviously in this bonus chapter, that fight doesn't particularly end, as soon as they realise that Goten and Trunks are Rangers, they leave them alone, so who knows what would have happened, but we may get to see it again in the future. Obviously after Super Perfect Cell was killed by Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, the Z Warriors wished for everybody killed by Cell to be brought back to life, which included Android 17. Android 17 went off and did his own thing and became a park ranger, and obviously he has been looking after this island. And just a little bit of information here, Herms also revealed that the island where 17 works is referred to here as Monster Island. So once again, it seems a reasonable bet that MIR, which is the slogan on Android 17's top, stands for Monster Island Ranger. If Android 17, who was originally weaker than the Cell Juniors, has managed to find a way to train and become stronger than the Cell Juniors in the first place, never mind 7 of them, then obviously that gives a good reason for how he has managed to accomplish an incredible new amount of power. Obviously, the manga and the anime scale Android 17 differently. He appears to be Super Saiyan 3 levels of power in the manga, whereas he appears to be Super Saiyan Blue levels of power in the anime. In episode 86 of Dragon Ball Super, Goku states that he needs to use Super Saiyan Blue against Android 17 and didn't expect to use it. We even see Toppo use his full power mode, which is something we only saw against Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku in the Zen Exhibition match. To go from where he was in the Android saga to Super Saiyan Blue levels is absolutely incredible, considering Goku got the Super Saiyan God Ritual, which elevated his power to incredible new levels. But this does go some way to helping us understand how he may have achieved it. There are quite a few random power hacks in Dragon Ball Super that don't particularly make a lot of sense. Obviously we had Golden Frieza, who elevated Frieza from Mecha Frieza to Super Saiyan Blue levels of power. The excuse for that was that Frieza did 4 months training, whereas he never did any training before. Okay, a very vague reason, but at least they gave us a reason. They never really gave us a reason why Android 17 got to this new level of power. Ultimate Gohan's another one, and you could also argue that Future Trunks' power was a bit ridiculous as well. I mean, I understand that it's all for plot purposes, but it's nice to get a bit of background as to how they achieved these new levels of power. Of course, Frieza's a prodigy, but he only trained for 4 months. Now, Android 17 was actually stronger than Final Form Frieza on Namek in the Android saga, so if he's been training with these Cell Juniors for over 10 years, then you know what, it becomes a bit more believable that he could reach these new levels of power. After all, like I said, these Cell Juniors should also keep increasing in power due to Zenkai boosts as well. And as there's 7 of them, it also explains why he's become a strategic genius, because obviously to tame these guys who come across quite volatile and violent and impudent, then he may have needed to set traps, etc., to find a way to tame these little beasts who are potentially now at Super Saiyan 2 Gohan levels from the Cell games. At the very least, if you want to lowball them, they're definitely at fully powered Super Saiyan Goku level from the Cell games. So, as I mentioned, this is definitely canon to the manga of Dragon Ball Super, but whether it's canon to the anime of Dragon Ball Super, we have to wait and see. It comes down to that argument again, doesn't it? Can you use the manga as a secondary source to explain plot holes or undeveloped stories in the anime? In this instance, it was never explained how Android 17 got that strong, other than the fact he'd done years upon years of training. However, this fills in those blanks, or at least could fill in those blanks if it is to be ever made canon to the anime. Let me know what side of the fence you sit on with that, guys. Do you think it can be used as a secondary source, or are you against it? Drop your thoughts down in the comment section. And just to make it crystal clear, I do understand that the anime and the manga of Dragon Ball Super are 2 different continuities of Super. Whilst they have the same narrative through lines, they use different plot devices to get to that narrative conclusion. So, last but not least, what could this possibly mean for a future return of Cell in the future? Well, it doesn't mean particularly that much. These Cell Juniors don't appear to have aged in the manga, but they could age and become fully grown cells themselves, or you never know, each one of them could go their own way, collect a Dragon Ball, and then ultimately wish for Cell to return. There are 7 of them after all. Or they could join the Dragon Team. They would be pretty useful members to have on the Dragon Team. After all, if they do have all the abilities of Cell, they would grow just like Saiyans and even Frieza. So whilst this is old news now, and you may have already heard this news, it does go some way to explaining Android 17's power increase, at least in the manga and possibly in the anime. I hope it does in the anime because I don't think it's a bad plot device. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. Would you like to see Cell return one day in a hypothetical future series of Dragon Ball Super? Let me know your thoughts. If you like my videos, please do smash that like button and lend me your energy. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Until next time, Ad Astra.